back to another episode of Imperfect on Purpose. This is Kristin, and today I'm with my boy, Kota the Friend, who's also Kota the dad, Kota the rapper, Kota the content creator, Kota with the 350,000 subs on YouTube and dang near 300 listeners on Spotify, Kota the book enthusiast, Kota the Flight Boys brand owner, and in my opinion, Kota the most down-to-earth independent rapper that I've ever seen. What do you think about, I guess, that intro?
I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Does that you feel like that sums it up? Did I forget anything?
It's whatever you want it to be. That's it. Whatever you think I am, you know what I mean? I'm just listening, you know?
Nah, for sure. So, I mean, I guess I know, but what's the story behind your name, Kota the Friend?
It's actually like a little more simple than people think. It's the name Kota was the name of a character in a movie Brother Bear.
Yeah, I love that movie as a kid.
Yeah, and so I like the name. So I was just like, man, I like that name. And then I looked it up, and the Native American meaning was friend. So I just kind of like put it together.
Do you feel like it's maybe you won't like this question. Do you feel like it's a play on like Chance the Rapper just a little bit? It's funny because y'all both like independent. Y'all got like not necessarily similar flows, but like that like down to earth, like, you know, chill, like vibey music.
Yeah, I think maybe, you know, subconsciously it has something to do with it, you know? It's like because Chance the Rapper existed, you know? So it's like you can imagine the name with my name, the something, you know?
It's definitely different, too, from like, you know, people be like little so-and-so or like whoever. But nah, I rock with it. So you're from Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie. When I was like growing up, I always wanted to be like from Brooklyn. Like I was like, that has to be like the best place to like grow up as a kid is like being in Brooklyn. Like
why'd you feel that way?
Cause y'all could just take the train to like random place. Like, you know, like I'm from Indiana, which is like, you know, right over like the Illinois border from like where we are right here. And like you can't take the train like nowhere. Right. So like y'all can just hop on the train and like go to the beach. I'm like, and people be having like block parties or y'all just be like hanging out on the stoop and stuff. I'm like, that has to be a vibe. Like
y'all don't hang out on the stoop?
We ain't got no stoop.
Y'all don't got stoops?
We got porches, like full like porches where you put like a swing or something. But like, nah, it ain't the same thing.
You know what's so crazy? I've always wanted a porch. You know what I mean? Like you always wanted a stoop. I always wanted a porch.
Man, I always wanted to be on the stoop. You would have loved the porch. Dang, that's crazy.
I love porches. You know, I always wanted to swing on a porch. That's a vibe.
It is a vibe, though. I will give you that. It is a different vibe. That's so funny. But like, no, I love Brooklyn. That's like one of my favorite places. We used to go there like in the summer when I was like growing up. I even named my daughter Brooklyn. Like her name was literally
You look like you could be from Brooklyn. Like, I feel like I know people like you.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So you honorary Brooklyn.
If I ever start lying to people, I'm be like, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Like, you know, I just ain't got the accent. Like,
the accent gives it away. We know you. As soon as you say you from Brooklyn, we like, come on now, stop.
What, I talk proper or something?
Yeah, now you just sound like you from Illinois, Indiana, right? Dang. The Illinois-Indiana border. That's where you sound like you from.
Dang,
right
that's crazy.
So
that's tough.
It's crazy. The accent is crazy. You know,
that's funny because you can tell y'all from Brooklyn too. You can tell you from New York. Like you definitely give away. Speaking of Brooklyn, how about them Nets?
Yo, she want to smoke.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. I'm a Nets fan too, though. Is the
a Nets fan?
Part. Yeah.
All right. So what we talking about with the Nets?
Okay.
How you feel?
Maybe I shouldn't say I'm a Nets fan. I had a favorite player, right? And I followed my favorite player, which was Kevin Garnett.
Okay.
And like I never had a favorite team before that, so like I followed him from like Minnesota to the Celtics and then to Brooklyn. And then I just stayed with Brooklyn after that because I didn't have he retired from there, so like whatever. That's my squad now. Some people be like, you don't get to just jump teams, but like whatever.
You can if you like. I feel like if you got a favorite player.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was doing because I know people Lakers fans now that wasn't before.
Right.
Like, and they following LeBron. So yeah. Nah, I mean I'm disappointed too. I thought we was definitely getting the dub this year.
Yeah, I was hoping, but I don't have that many high hopes, you know, for New York City teams. But like I was hoping and praying. Like I love our team. I love Brooklyn. I love the Brooklyn Nets. Like I love everybody on the team. I just feel like we need better coaching. That's it.
Yeah, I don't even know who you blame it on either. Like, I don't know if it was the slump Kevin Durant was in or, like, Ben Simmons not playing. Like, you know, like, them letting Kyrie not play out. Like, you know, like, what? I don't even know what happened. Like, we just fumbled the bag. Like,
But that goes to show you there's so many different things affecting the Nets. Like the fact that
Man.
Kyrie couldn't play. It's always something. Like last year, Kyrie got hurt. This year he was healthy but couldn't play because of COVID rules.
Man.
It was terrible, yo. We definitely went out bad though.
Yeah, I don't know if we got a curse or what. Like
it's a New York curse. It's a New York curse altogether. Like the Jets, Giants, Yankees, Mets,
the Knicks,
Brooklyn Nets. Like
dang.
That's what we got. We got all these teams. We got like 2 teams per sport. And we still just.
I guess that's
true.
Know, when they was in Jersey, they wasn't really doing no better though.
Nah, they had, but back in the day, the New Jersey Nets was doing good. You know, when they had Jason Kidd.
Yeah, I was say when they had Jason Kidd, but yeah, I don't know. Disappointing for sure though. So it's arguable that Brooklyn has created, I guess, most rappers out of any other city or borough. Not even just in New York, but kind of around the country. If you could choose to do like a cypher with you and 4 other Brooklyn rappers, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Dead or alive?
Yeah, dead or alive.
Man, dead or alive. Okay, dead or alive. Biggie, Biggie, Jay, from just Brooklyn.
Yeah, just Brooklyn.
All right, Biggie, Jay, Busta Rhymes, and what's one more? Yo, give me one more, bro. Oh, Mos Def.
Yeah, you got like Mos Def,
Biggie, Jay,
Papoose.
Yeah,
Big Daddy Kane, like.
Dang, you know more than me. You know what I mean.
Nah, that's what's up though. So in Brooklyn as well, like Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, Biggie, they all kind of went to like the same high school. Is there anybody you like went to high school with, or I guess ran into kind of while you were, doing your thing in Brooklyn that like you feel like are really like, I guess, popping off kind of like you are now?
I mean, I didn't really go to school with anybody that's like popping off, but I associated with a lot of people. Like we were pretty close with people at Murrow, the school called Edward R. Murrow, and a lot of them ended up like being popular in bands, and a lot of people from Pro Era went there, and so yeah, we were acquainted.
That's dope. And then you kind of started, I guess, Flight Night. Can you explain, I guess, what that is and how that started?
Yeah, Flight Night was something that I started in high school. It was like 2015, so we was just some kids like trying to get a stage, and so we went to local bars. We weren't supposed to be there, but they let us, they let us rock out, and we would just be like put like 5-6 artists on a bill and just go crazy. So, and we just did that for fun, and we really just wanted something to do that wasn't like negative or nothing that had us in the street. So.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then basically that was like, what kind of opportunity, I guess, did that create for young artists like yourself?
Mm-hmm. Now, it created, like, it gave us a space to express ourselves that was, like, healthy, in a healthy way. Like, there was never any fights. There was never, any negativity. It was just literally a whole bunch of kids coming together, like, from every part of the city, not even just Brooklyn. People come from Manhattan. Like, it became something that was, like, growing. And it was just mad fun. And so a lot of people connected off of that. People that are still best friends to this day. People that are still making music together to this day. So
yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And even like right now, we're obviously like shooting this like podcast in Chicago because you had a show last night. How did that go?
It's crazy. Like I love performing in Chicago, and it was a sold out crowd. 1,100 plus people. At the Metro, and it was like a full circle moment. Last time we were here, I think we did like 350 people at Subterranean, and this time we doing 1,100. It's like sick.
Yeah, that's dope. And this was part of like, I guess, your own like Flight Night series as well. And you put on, I guess, a couple like newer upcoming artists. I guess, what does that mean for you to like be able to do that as an opportunity?
Nah, it's amazing because it brings it back to what we were doing when we were in high school. Where we put on people that really didn't have a platform. And so it's that full circle moment where it's just like, yo, why aren't we doing that anymore?
Yeah.
And deciding to do that again really like brings us back to the roots. And watching the artists perform, I was just backstage just watching them like, yo, like, it's so dope. Look at this. Like, he's killing it. She's killing it, And watching them really get on the big stage and be excited about it and be like, yo, I'm about to, backstage when they warming up, and it's like a beautiful moment. It reminds me of me, and so I love watching them grow.
That's a vibe. That's a vibe. And then I guess Flight Boys. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, Flight Boys also started when I was in high school, 2015. Or was it 2018? My bad. I'm getting dates wrong. I'm old. I'm old head. But yeah, so it was like 2018. So let me asterisk 2018. And it was just a clothing line and we would sell the clothes at the venue, and I would just give it to my friends. And I was young, so I remember going to the garment district, which is like a super like it got characters out there. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's
like
a hustler.
Like how you can go on like Canal Street. And
yeah, exactly.
Somebody show you something out the back of the trunk, like something like that.
Except it's a little more sketchy.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's a little more sketchy. It's
More
a lot
sketchy
of
than that.
yeah. It's definitely more sketchy than that. You know, because like even when you're on Canal Street, you got business people out there. You got people going to work and stuff. When you on 28th Street, they only there for one thing, and that's the hustle. You know, so you got people from different countries that come there to get their money. It's like that's the place that they stop. And that's where they do their illegal stuff. That's where you get all the fake stuff. You want fake ups. You want you want a fake G-Shot, because this is back in the day. You want to fake this, fake that. So I used to go there and pick up bags of like blank T-shirts, and then take that downtown Brooklyn, get them printed. And I was doing all of this in high school. Like, so
that's what I'm talking about. Growing up in Brooklyn, y'all can just hop on a train carrying a big bag of like, people come like, what are you doing? If that's in my city, them like, nah, this is.
That's true. That's true.
That's
but
dope though.
I was the only one doing it. There wasn't and that's not a good thing. I wasn't in school. That's the thing. You was either in school or you was doing, trying. But I was at least doing something positive, where it was like, all right, this is something I really want to do. So like, school's not really stimulating me like that. I'm gonna, So I was about my hustle, and so I just, it's those memories like that for me. That's what Flight Boys is. It's like being young and on a grind, and like no matter what, even though there's no real promise for the future, it's just like, yo, I'm just trying to make this work.
Yeah.
And so Flight Boys is just like this hopeful thing that a young kid was trying to make happen. It's something that I wanted to bring back, because it's like, nah, I want to make that kid's dreams come true.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I guess you started, like a actual like storefront too, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did that open?
Yeah, I opened the storefront, I think last year. It's been such a crazy time, and I've been doing so much, so I haven't really been keeping track of times lately. I gotta figure it out. But it started in we pretty much opened it in 2021. That's like when it officially opened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And then I guess the description for Flight Boys is like created for free thinkers by public school kids who weren't supposed to ever be shit. What does that mean? I guess break that down just a little bit more. It
was just like the schools we went to and the people that we grew up with. It's like there's low expectations. We didn't go to the schools where they have all the amenities and all of the we didn't have the opportunities that a lot of people have. When you grow up in like
public school.
Yeah, in public school versus like private school, and it's just like, yo, we want you to have the best. It's like in public school, it's not like that, obviously. But well, not in all public school.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
So basically, people thought y'all wasn't gonna be shit.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids where it's just like, yo, you just kind of like another number. You're another. You're not really special. We're not gonna try extra hard to get you anything or to give you the leg up. So it's like we had to do it for ourselves, and basically saying like, yo, we came out of those systems, and we hustled and we made it work with what we had, and now look at us.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. So in a few songs like Four Color Boys and Kalief, you've been really vocal about some deep-rooted Black issues, from things to like the U.S. Maternal mortality rate, and then like the public death of Kalief Browder. Let's talk for a minute about Sha'Asia Washington, a Brooklyn mother who died kind of during childbirth. Why did you feel like that, I guess, resonated with you so much?
I mean, I feel like it's become a known thing that, Black women do deal with things that, white mothers don't deal with, like, so it's sad that you have to think about the dangers and racism and while you're giving birth to a child, while you're going through this very like delicate time in your life, and I feel like it's just so sad. And it's like you're giving birth is it's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be this beautiful thing, and you make that hard. Even that hard. You know, it's like forget about trying to get an apartment or trying to get a house or trying to get a fair deal at a job. It's like you can't even have a baby without worrying about somebody wanting to, you know, without somebody wanting to force a C-section on you or do this or do that, you know, because, you know, they don't got the time or the patience, and you're a black woman.
Or black women are looked at as stronger, or, you know, just like...
Whatever it is, it ain't right. Whatever it is stupid. You know, I don't care what the excuse is. It's just dumb.
No,
know?
For sure. And just for people who don't know, the U.S.'s like mother mortality rate is one of the highest, you know, out of any countries in just the world. And black women are 3.5 times more likely to die during childbirth. And that's not even just like low income or like, you know, like sometimes it's like social, economic, you know, disparities. But no, like even me as a college educated black woman, I'm still more likely to die in childbirth than my Caucasian counterpart who didn't, you know, even finish high school. So like that's like insane when you think about it. And just like the U.S.'s mother mortality rate is very high in general. It's like 23 deaths per like 100,000, you know, like live births. But among black mothers, it's 55 deaths per like 100,000 births. So like it's crazy when you think about it. And Brooklyn actually has like one of the highest, like out of all of New York, it has the highest mother and I think infant mortality rate.
I didn't even know that.
Man, it's insane.
But
so
my son, you know, when he was born, it's like I remember his mother having a really tough time and not enjoying her experience at all. Like after she gave birth and stuff like that. So it always stuck with me. It sticks with me, especially because it's like knowing that my son was kind of in an uncomfortable situation, and she was in an uncomfortable situation, and I felt so helpless as a man, you know. And so that really made me feel a type of way, and I would never. It pushed me to do better and be better, so I could afford things like the extra 2 days in the hospital or like the private room and things like that. It's like you just can't afford it when you don't have it. I mean, I didn't have it. I didn't have the money to get those things, you know, to have those things for her, and so that's the system we live in, where it's like, oh, you don't got the money, well, your experience is gonna be very trash. You know?
Do not have your kids in a hospital, they don't give a fuck, especially about black folk. Learn how to deliver your own kids and have them at home, kid. And leave that placenta attached as long as you want, kid. It's different for black boys, harder for black girls. Start your own business venture, thrive in the black world.
Definitely.
So.
And in some of your songs, you advocate for like getting a doula. And what I guess if you were to have another kid, what would you do differently this time?
I mean, definitely. Get a midwife, you know, get a doula if you can, have the baby at a birthing center, maybe a water birth, you know, something and during the birth process, like, have things around that make it, you know, pleasing and comfortable, maybe some aromatherapy, maybe, you know, it's like, seriously.
There's little things you can do.
It's the little things you can do just to make it a little bit better, you know, for real.
Definitely. And, I mean, even just bringing awareness to, like, the structural, you know, racism in the healthcare system, like it definitely plays a part, because like you said, even just some of the facts that I said you didn't know, or, you know, somebody might hear your song and start to think, you know, twice about it. And that makes all the difference. So, as it relates to the Kalief Browder situation, so for those who don't know, he was a wrongfully accused 22-year-old who was held in Rikers Island for, I think, 3 years maybe. And he was in solitary confinement for like a year and a half. And he eventually killed himself from like the trauma that he endured. And he would have been 29 next month. So you're 29 as well, right? Yes. So as a 29-year-old, you know, just being from New York as well, like how does that, I guess, sit with you? Like, do you see yourself in his position? And is that why you felt like you should say something and speak up about it?
Black power, like fuck the system and stack dollars. Came in through the back, robbed your business cause it's really ours. 12 think they tough, but niggas know that they really cowards. Hiring my people and cousins, call it the family dollar. Brothers hoisting me on their shoulders so y'all can hear me louder. This one for the people that's just now Googling Kalief Browder.
like the Kalief Browder situation was just so sad, you know, more than anything. It's just like things that shouldn't happen, you know? It's like, why is this boy, he's a little boy, he's a boy,
Yeah.
you know? He's a teenager. Why is he in jail?
Rikers Island.
Rikers
at
Island.
that.
In Rikers Island for something he didn't do. And when you think about him, Kalief Browder represents so many black youth that are in prison for no reason, you know? And nobody cares. It's like they're left behind in the system. I think his bond was like $900 or something like that. And
his family just didn't have it.
They didn't have it. When I think about that, I'm like $900.
That's sick when you think like
$900. They make it just out of your reach because it's
Man.
like. And then when the mom actually had the money to pay the bond, like they said they still wouldn't let him out.
I think that's when he was like in the solitary confinement. So now he's in trouble
Right.
from being somewhere he ain't got no business being because he didn't do it in the first place.
Right.
And just supposedly you're supposed to have a right to a reasonable, like a trial within a reasonable amount of time. Yeah. So like he shouldn't have been in there that long anyway, without y'all knowing for sure that he did this. So like it's just. The situation is just horrible, and then to know that like he couldn't, he didn't want to live with like the trauma that he endured in there is like, it's sad, man.
I mean, there's a few conversations in that. There's the mental health aspect. There's the, wrongfully accused just for being a black man aspect. Not even a black man, a black kid.
Man, a black.
It's like for stealing a book bag, for stealing a book bag. Not even because the crime was serious,
Yeah, no, for sure.
For a bag. Imagine that, man. Look at these kids that come from these wealthy families that are, on trial for these big things that just get a slap on the wrist. You know?
Definitely.
It's like, so it's money talks, and when you don't got it, you don't have a voice.
No, definitely. So these aren't really your typical, I guess, Black Lives Matter situations, but they need advocacy and awareness, like we're bringing to it. How do you think we can stop situations like this from happening in the future?
Man, that's above my pay grade.
Nah,
it is, but I'm not really into politics like that, and all I can do is like, kind of feel the emotion. I feel it. I feel it with all of the people. I'm right there. It's like hurting my heart too, and I can use my platform to spread awareness and show people like this is what it is, and it shouldn't be like this. But ultimately, racism and all of these things are just a human disease. It's just like something that we have to get together and figure out together. It's nothing like we can't condemn each other. It's like we have to just really have compassion and learn to like. There's actually books on this. Like there's a book called
How to be an anti-racist? Is that the
no,
one?
That's not the one. But I probably should read that one.
You should. Add that to
Yeah.
your book club and your list. That's a good one too.
Definitely. But there's My Grandmother's Hands by Resma Menakem, and he pretty much talks about bodily trauma in like white bodies and black bodies, and what we're all dealing with, and how like white people think they're not dealing with racism, but they're dealing with it, and they're traumatized by it just as much as we are, but it's just different, and it's the reason why there's white superiority and black inferiority. It's all the same. It's all the same disease, and we have to really get to the root of it and figure out how we can do it together, because it can't just be done. One can't be done without the other. We have to do away with it.
No, definitely. I'm gonna have to check that book out, and then if you check out the other one, let me know. But I mean, I just appreciate you, I guess, using your platform to like, bring awareness to these issues and just, having conversations. Maybe somebody will pick up that book and be like, wow, this, changed my life, and you never know. So, you have your own podcast as well called Free Not Woke. What does that mean? Because that seems like a a loaded, I guess, title for a podcast. So
right, Free Not Woke is pretty much the name. It's like I got tired of hearing woke stuff. I hate the woke stuff, bro. Like I'm tired of the woke era. It's like I'm tired of the mob mentality. It's like, bro, if you're part of a internet mob, you're not woke. You know what I mean? It's like if you're trying to bring people down and destroy people, you're not woke. You're trying to be conscious so bad that you're working against the world, against the good of the world, you know? It's like we have to learn how to build up, not just tear down, you know? It's like it's easy to tear something down. It's hard to really build something up, you know? So it's just Free Not Woke is pretty much like these are our real thoughts, and this is not a mob show. This is not a mob mentality. We don't like attacking things. We want to talk about real solutions, how we can really heal as people, as human beings, how we can really like get past situations and grow. So it's all about like real growth and sustainable growth. Yeah.
Most definitely. I appreciate that too. I appreciate you like explaining that. But no, I feel you on the woke. Like I can't get with like when people be like, you know, like, oh, I'm so woke or so and so woke, and it's just like, when was you sleeping? Like, you know, like what do you mean? Like, why? But like I'm gonna start using that though, like being free. Cause like that's really what it's about, is just being free and being like, you know, like your highest self, and not, you know, trying to like tear down the systems like you said. So
we not trying to be like anything. Like I say our thoughts are really our thoughts. It's like I'm not trying to go with whatever everybody else is thinking. There's people on the internet that are like, yo, so how we feel about this? It's like, why you asking somebody else how you feel about something? You know what I mean? You should know how you feel, but you don't know how to think for yourself anymore because you've been going with, you know, what everybody else is saying. Yeah. It's like, how about you have a free thought? Like, how you have free speech without free thought? It's like your words aren't even yours. They're just regurgitated nonsense. You know?
You feel like that's a side effect of like social media?
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, social media is just like, it's just another form of media that came about. So people have always been thinking like that. Think about it. Before, people just see a newspaper, believe the newspaper. Oh, these are the facts. Yeah. And that's propaganda. And now people on social media, that's more propaganda. It just got worse, you know?
Yeah, it spread faster on social media than in the newspaper, for sure. But the form of media just changed, and people getting the information faster, and it's literally in the palm of our hand at every second, and people can type something up. It could be completely not true, and like people will go with it. Speaking of things being not true and people going with it, so in your song Bitter, you talk about, I guess, like an ex-girlfriend that kind of put these allegations out on social media against you. Could you talk about that, or maybe like run through? I know you explained it pretty well in like the song Bitter, so if anybody really wanted to know, they could like listen to the song. But if you don't mind, I guess, explaining it a little bit.
My ex-girl Bitter went on Twitter saying that she was abused. It's time to tell you the truth, and the truth is that she was at my crib on the same day that she went on her rampage, telling me that she just wanted us to be a family.
Yeah, basically, my ex-girlfriend, you know, was mad that I didn't want to be with her, and that day she went on Twitter accusing me of abusing her, and pretty much I'm learning that it's a common story, but at the time you feel like it's only happening to you. but yeah, it's something that affected me, you know, and I've learned that it affects like a lot of people, and it happens to a lot of people, you know.
Man, I mean, that's kind of like, I guess, what Johnny Depp is like going through right now with the Amber Heard case. Have you been watching, I guess, any of that trial or paying attention to it?
Like a hawk? I watched that. I watched that thing. You know,
I mean, that could have been you. Like, that's really like, you know, when you get that celebrity status and people put these allegations out and social media runs with it, like we were just talking, and that, you know, the herd kind of goes with it, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not, but.
Yeah, the herd goes along with it, you know? No pun intended.
No.
But that was funny.
How did you, I guess, get out of that situation? Like, how did it end for you?
I mean, I just did a show yesterday with 1,100 people in the crowd. So it's like, but emotionally and mentally, it's something you still got to get through. Like, one thing I remember Johnny Depp said in, like, when he was, the first time I was watching, he was like, yo, this is something I'm going to be dealing with for the rest of my life. And that hit me because that's how it feels, you know? It's like, you really feel that way. For somebody to get out and say something about you that's like completely not true, something that people know you not to be this way, you know?
Yeah.
They know you, they know who you are, you know? And you know who you are. And imagine just somebody saying something completely left field where you're like, what? that don't even make sense, you know?
Then it's so absurd that people be like, well, it probably is true because, you know, like, why,
Like
how could they make that up?
Who would make that up?
Yeah.
And then you realize that people actually crazy.
Do make stuff
like,
up, yeah.
Nah, people actually crazy, period. Like, I'm watching Amber Heard. I'm like, this shorty is crazy.
Yeah, I
like,
think it came out that she might have like a personality disorder.
She definitely
like,
has that. I was like, oh, y'all just realizing she got a personality disorder?
Yeah.
Like, I could see that a mile away, but it's real. Like, people really sick, you know? So I'm not even gonna say crazy because that's politically incorrect.
It's definitely
you
like
know?
a mental illness.
Yeah, it's
sure.
it's a real mental illness, and she really needs help. And Johnny Depp really needs help because he got his own problems, you know what I mean? And they together had a toxic relationship, you know? And even watching that, watching the trial, I'm like, yo, this is literally just a toxic relationship on display for the world to see. It's like, why are we doing this?
That's the hard part about being a celebrity too, is there's like a microscope at kind of like anything that you do. And so like, just, I mean, even like how you said, this is something you got to deal with for like the rest of your life, or even let's say, I mean, your songs are already blowing up, but let's say one blows up even further than it is. You never know. Somebody could pull that back out and be like, remember this on Twitter? Like,
yeah, they will. And it's cool because I got evidence for that. You know, I'm not in court like Johnny Depp is, but I got my own pieces of evidence that if you wanna
proof that
if you wanna, all right, you know, cool. But obviously I wouldn't put that out because I'm saving it in case I got to go to a court situation. So you got to save all of that.
No,
you know?
definitely.
So, but one thing I'm gonna do is tell my story because nobody's gonna silence me. It's like, yeah, I'm a man in this society, but I'm not like these other dudes out here that's just listening to their lawyers. Oh, don't say nothing. Nah, I'm gonna tell my story because I don't got really nothing to hide. You know?
It's sort of like unheard of too for men to speak out, I guess, against, you know, abuse that happened to them, or like in the song you basically say that she was, you know, more so like the perpetrator versus like she was saying it about you. But a lot of men feel like it's unmanly or like, you know, they can't speak up, I guess, on that. What made you, you know, feel comfortable enough to kind of tell your story?
Because like I'm not gonna have lies be spread about me, you know? It's like if something happened a certain way, I'm gonna say how it happened. It doesn't make sense to just like sit back and take abuse from people. It's like, and I'm watching the Johnny Depp thing. I'm like, bro, like finally somebody's on this big stage saying it, you know, because I'm saying it and people not believing me. It's like, why you not? I feel like it's believable when you say, yo, I don't want to be with you. Or if a girl finds out, yo, you cheating on me or whatever, and she punch you in the face, I feel like that's a very believable situation, you know?
Yeah.
The thing is, I've been attacked by several women, you know, in relationships where it's like she feel like I'm doing her wrong and she punched me in the face or she kicked me or she slap me or whatever repeatedly. And so being in those situations, I'm like, how could somebody ever go out and say that I did something to them? And it gets to the point where you can't take it anymore. And so it's just like, yo, you know what? This is the real situation. And this is what she's trying to make it seem. And you got to know this because you realize there's a lot of people going through this. So, yo.
I think something needs to be said, too, about women that put their hands on men. Like, you know, like it's kind of like, it's something that's like taboo. Like people don't really talk about it, but it happens a lot. And
it happens a lot. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of men don't even speak on it because they're like, it's something I don't need to speak on. But it's something you don't need to speak on until you out here getting accused for abuse, you know? That's when it's like, all right, now it's time I got to say something because you trying to make it seem like something it wasn't. And I think that's the real problem is anybody putting their hands on anybody.
Period.
Like nobody should be putting their hands on anybody. Nobody should be abusing anybody.
And if it's toxic,
just leave.
Situation.
And that's the thing when you try. Like look at Johnny Depp. He tried to get away. He got the divorce. He was like, yo, I just want a divorce, blah, blah, blah. A couple weeks later or whenever, he abused me.
Yeah.
I got a black eye, see? I got a bloody nose, you know? So it's like that toxicity is just too much. That's what you're trying to get away from, and it ends up still just biting you in the ass, you know?
Yeah. There's a local story where I'm from, too, where this guy that I, like, went to high school with and this girl that I know, they were in, like, a pretty toxic relationship, but she ended up shooting him, like, just chased him down and, like, you know, shot him. But it's like people don't, you know, like, not enough men speak up, you know, ahead of time. And he was trying to get out that situation, and that's how it ended for him. So, like, it's like we have to have these conversations where we saying something about it and bringing it to the light and hopefully changing, you know, the outcome for somebody else.
Right.
What would you say was your biggest lesson that you learned from just this situation?
Biggest lesson I learned from this situation, I learned a lot of lessons from this situation. I learned to keep good people in your life, and whenever you feel the toxic, you know, coming, and whenever you get a bad feeling, just leave it alone, you know, before anything happens, you know. Just do right, you know, in every way. Even on my side, it's like, just do the right thing. Care about other people's feelings, and leave when somebody is physically abusive to you, you know? Just leave. Don't even think about it. If somebody is putting their hands on you, be out. You know, that's what I would tell my son. Obviously, I would tell him the whole story. You know, I tell him, yo, this is what happened, and this is how you got to move in situations like that. Like, and I would also say you got to keep your mind. You know, you got to keep your mental straight, and you just have to really know yourself. You have to know yourself enough to know when people are throwing dirt on your name and saying stuff about you. You have to know yourself to be like, that's not me, you know, because even when watching the Johnny Depp trial, he was like, you start believing the stuff that they say about you, even though you know who you are.
Not true, yeah.
And so really know yourself, because if you don't, then you're going to drown, you know, and you're going to go through a really bad depression. And that's not even just this situation. That's if people are saying stuff for you, spreading rumors at school, if you're a teenager, or spreading rumors within your family about who you are, you know. You have to know who you are, you know.
I think that's a good point for anybody kind of on the come up, or like, you know, reaching that celebrity status like you as well, you know, because people will try to throw dirt on your name and just all kinds of stuff just on some, like, you know, just hating. So, like, that's good to be like, you know yourself and know, you know, when just know. So a lot of your following you gain by shooting kind of creative music or creative videos and snippets for like your song. What's the secret sauce, I guess, behind becoming a favorite in the algorithm?
I don't know.
I guess what went into your videos then? Like, just like, what was your thought process behind them?
With my videos, I just didn't have money to shoot a real video. So I was like, how can I shoot a music video, make interesting content without spending a whole bunch of money, without really spending anything, because I really had no budget. And so I just put the camera up on a tripod. I stood there, and I figured if I stand still, people would think it's weird. You know what I mean? And they might be like, oh, let me watch this. It was weird to watch, but it was cool, you know? And just put the yellow subtitles so people could screenshot, and like repost. It's just like, oh, that was a bar, you know? Because I wanted people to really pay attention to the words.
Yeah.
And so I just I did it once. I didn't expect it to hit. It started going viral. I'm like, oh, so I did it again. I just never stopped doing it, and I've been doing that ever since, you know?
So probably consistency then is the secret sauce.
Maybe.
Being a favorite in the algorithm. You do something, you find something that works, and then you just go with it and keep doing it, like, and it obviously worked out for you. So you seem to be a one-man show too. Like, what all do you do when it comes to like your songs, your albums? Like,
yeah, I produce. I write my lyrics. I record myself. I don't engineer myself. You know, I don't edit. You know, audio. Cause I'm not good at mixing. You know, I'm not good at mixing like at all. But I shoot my videos. I edit my videos. Anything having to do with videos, I'm the main guy.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I do.
Where'd your experience and I guess videography or learning how to shoot, or where'd you get a camera from? Like, you know, like, how did that come about?
Yeah. Years ago, like damn near like 10 years ago, I started shooting videos. So I got like a little Canon T3i, and I started shooting around and shooting my friends, and the videos look terrible now. I look at them now, I'm like, oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, mad stuff I made back then. Like, when I was younger, I'm like, this is so cringy.
Yeah.
But it was hitting back then. So
right, it was hitting back then. You was with your friends like, yo, look at this. This clip is so fire. But but that's the process, right? Like,
yeah, it's definitely the process.
So I got the T3i first. I remember I got a little job as a dishwasher. And I saved up that money. I got a Canon 5D Mark II. And then the videos was hitting for real.
Yeah.
And then, and so it's like I kept working at it. I was shooting for free. There was times I was shooting in the blazing heat, times I was shooting in the ice freezing cold. And I just never stopped. I was always working like every day or every other day to get better. And I just got better to a point where I was just like, you know what? I think I'm ready to make music again. And so I had that, skill set available,
And then you were like, I'm finna put my all into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? I guess what pushed you to kind of put your all into it?
My son was about to be born, and I had to figure it out. It's like I had to go. Either I'm gonna make music full time, or I'm gonna shoot videos full time, or I'm gonna ditch everything and just like see if I could get a regular job and try to make it work. This is a real conversation I had with myself.
Yeah,
It was like I have these 3 options, and I decided to go with music because I'm like I wish I could really feel what I was feeling, because like now that I think about it, it's hard. Like, why would I pick that? You know what I mean? Like,
I was thinking that, like, dang, job was off the table.
Right. Now that I think about it.
Especially with a kid on the way.
Right.
Like, you was just like, yeah, I'm finna risk it all in the most riskiest one. Let me pick.
Yo, I risked it all. I didn't have no opportunities. Nothing was really happening for me. So now that I think about it, I'm like, yo, that's crazy that you would do that. But
you must have had mad confidence or, like, real faith. Some people, like, I was just saying this to my friend Kristin in the car. Like, I feel like most of the time, like, when you just know. And I'm like celebrities and stuff, like people that like got there, they know. And they knew right before, like they was just like, this is gonna work out. Like you can just feel when it's gonna work out. Like,
yeah, maybe that's what it was. It's like I didn't really have the option to fail. I was like, yo, I gotta do this. Like my son is on the way.
Yeah.
And I gotta make it happen for him. And so I just worked mad hard, like put in everything.
Yeah. I have a son too, and I had him kind of like a young age, and it was like a choice that I had to make for like, just like going back to school and like gonna pursue that and just anything I wanted to do. And I remember I was watching like March Madness or something, and there was like this guy that had one arm, and he was like a basketball player. I can't remember what school he was playing for, but it's not like this wasn't recently. This was like 7 years back, and so not the new guy with one arm. It was
another guy with one arm?
Yes, there was a different guy with one arm. He didn't get as much publicity. I don't know what happened to him, but
damn, yo, we need to bring him back. Pull up his highlights, bro. Stop playing.
I feel like his name was Isaiah, but I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever. He only had one arm. And so, like, he was talking about basically, like, you can, and I never forgot this. He was like, you either make it your excuse or you make it your life story. And I was like, dang, like, that, like, stuck in the back of my mind for exactly that's he. I was like, okay. So, like, I always thought that. And, like, anytime I came across, some sort of, like, difficult thing, it was like, okay, I can either make this, my excuse or, like, I can make it my life story. And so, like, what I ended up doing, like, after I had my son was I felt kind of like, just like postpartum and like having a kid is like hard on like, just women in general. And I felt like real alone because like the rest of my friends went back to college and, I couldn't go because I'm having a kid and like, I just had a kid. And so like I just felt like mad alone. And I was like, dang, like what could I do? So I ended up starting like a mom group for like young moms in like our area. And I was like, dang, like I could have just been like, just go to work and do whatever and sit at home with like this kid and have postpartum depression or whatever. But I was like, instead, like, let's make this my life story and I'll like, find ways to like inspire other people. And like,
how old were you when you did that?
21.
Wow.
So like maybe like 21, 22. Because I had my son at 21. So this is probably like the next year. He's probably like 1. So like 22. And most of my friends that I met, when I started that, like we're all still like close. Our kids have grown up together. They're like 7, 8 now. Like, so like it was a cool experience. And then like I always wanted to be like a talk show host too. That was like my dream. Like since I was a kid, I started out in school for like video production. And then I ended up like with a degree in like business and marketing when I like finished. Cause I had the kids, so I like took a break and then I was like, all right, probably ain't gonna be no talk show host. So let me like give that up and pursue like business and marketing or whatever. But then obviously like podcasting came out and I was like, dang, this is like my chance. Like, so like this is me, like I guess really getting back into it and, just a part of my life story.
That's amazing. That's amazing. The fact that you were 21 and you started a mom group.
Man.
For real, like that in itself is like an accomplishment because it's like that's a real thing. Like you're going through some real emotional stuff that like a lot of people can't understand. Yeah. And here it is, you're 21 and you mobilize a group of, moms.
For sure. And
So,
it was like, cause like I wasn't necessarily like a teen mom either,
right.
and then like obviously wasn't like I ain't feel right at like the older mom stuff, cause it was like, all right, I'm too young for like these people that's like 30, but like I'm like stuck in this like, so I found a bunch of people that was stuck in that same like like 20 to like 26 like age group, and like we literally created kind of like a collective, basically like what y'all did with like Flight Boys and like with Flight Night, like really just found like something that. Like if you're not invited to the table, you just like
you create your own
your
table.
own. Yeah, you pull up your own seat and create your own table. So
That's
it
fire.
was really like something like that. Like, man, but I mean, it all worked out, and I'm glad that y'all like, we like COVID kind of took that like what we were doing to like a halt. But like I said, me and like a lot of the friends that I met, during that time, like we're all still cool. Like our kids, we just did an Easter egg hunt with like everybody's kids like a couple weeks ago, and so like I'm glad that y'all like still pursuing the stuff that y'all was chasing, back then too. So it's all dope. I guess what advice would you have for anybody that's trying to make it independently, like on their own at kind of anything, whether that be like artists or like people who do music or content creators, videographers?
I would just say keep going. I feel like this mad cliche, but it's true. Like one of Jay-Z said one time, he said the most genius thing we did was we didn't quit, And for real, because it's you could be quitting right before you about to get the gold,
Yeah.
So if you want something, go get it. But you got to make sure it's what you want, It's like, don't do something just because somebody else wants it, or you have to do what you have. Sometimes you have to really figure out, what do I really want? Because I feel like sometimes we be in situations where we're not even happy doing what we're supposed to love. You know what I'm saying? We loved it 5 years ago, but we haven't been loving it like we do like lately, like we did then.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you find yourself in that space where it's just like, I need to make a change, make a change, Do something different. Like, go with your gut. I think that's the advice.
Yeah.
Like, go with your gut.
And then I think, like how you said, go with your gut. I feel like a lot of people pick up stuff that they, were probably passionate about, like as a kid, or just like, you can kind of see, I guess, what you're interested in, and people know when they're not feeling something, or when people are too like focused on like the numbers or like the money. I feel like they lose the authenticity of like their work. But I feel like you don't like your music doesn't really like, I don't know, like you probably at like Hollywood status, but I feel like your music don't scream like I'm there. It's still like that, like I like to call that motivation music. So like, how rap has like, there's like drill music, or there's like the genre of music that you make, in my mind at least, this is what I call it, is like motivational music. So like this is the music that I'm gonna listen to when I'm trying to grind. So like, just like it's that inspirational, like, and your voice is like the vibe. Like it's just like all like not monotone, but like
it's kind of monotone.
Yeah.
You right,
like,
you right.
You got the podcast voice, the like you could do commercials.
I could do commercials.
You could do like maybe Brooklyn commercials though, because you got the accent.
Wow, she just said that.
Commercial.
Yo, she said I could do Brooklyn commercials only in Brooklyn.
Indiana, they'd be like, "What's
not
that?"
Not in Queens.
They'd be like, "I don't even know what he's saying. Why is he saying son?"
Deadass, get this car, B. It's crazy.
Exactly. People gonna be like, he sounds like he's speaking a foreign
fire.
language.
It go real fast, bro. You just hop on a BQE, you know what I'm saying? Like, take that,
Exactly.
Take that as JFK, call it a day, all right?
You'll have somebody buying the Bugatti with that voice, see?
Right,
but only in Brooklyn, though, because ain't nobody else gonna know what you're talking about.
Nah.
You live out in LA now, right?
Well, not LA, but Long Beach. I got a
Okay.
spot in Long Beach and in Brooklyn, so yeah.
How dare you? No, I'm
How
just
dare I what?
Move from Brooklyn.
Move from Brooklyn? Nah, I didn't move. I still got a spot.
So you got two. So you
I'm
so you go back and
bi-coastal.
forth.
I'm
Okay.
bi-coastal Kota.
Okay.
Yeah, I would never abandon Brooklyn.
What? Okay.
Never say never. Let me take that back. Strike that from the record.
What? I guess what inspired that move?
I always wanted to live in California, and I was trying to get a house in New York, and the prices for what you were getting was just so pitiful. I was like, man. And then I realized I don't even want to live out here. I don't
You
even
don't
really
want that one bedroom shack in the trenches?
Not even that. I was trying to get an actual house, So in those prices is different, So it got so crazy, and I realized that I just wasn't happy with what I was finding, altogether.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I really don't even want to get a house out here, So instead, I was just like, yo, let me see what they got in California, So I went out, I looked out there. Always wanted to moved to Long Beach since I visited because I was like, it's so chill. It's outside of LA, so it's like it's a chill vibe. You know, it's a beach town, so it's like it's nice. And I found it. The first house I looked at, I was just like, that's the one. And then and I just went for it.
That's what's up. That's dope. Is that your house in the videos with all the plants?
No.
Oh, dang.
I can't show that.
See,
house.
I thought you was a plant dad. I'm like, dang, he must be a plant dad. Like all these plants around.
What video was this?
In Bitter.
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah, that was some space
Boys?
that was some space that I rented out.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Not my crib.
That's what's up though. But I'm glad. So you bought that then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Homeowner.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Black homeowners out here. You
Man.
feel me?
Period. Gang. But you know, it's a little different buying something in Indiana. Like I'm talking like 120.
120K?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ooh, 120.
You know, smooth.
That's
look.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Man, and that's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
Oh my goodness. Right. 120K, 3 bedrooms,
nobody
3
else
baths.
know about that anywhere
Big
else.
backyard, big driveway.
Nah, that was like 3 years ago though. Our house worth 180K now.
Oh,
but,
nice.
But you know, that's just the way the market is.
That's the
It's
way
insane
going.
right
The housing
now.
market is going crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
Nah, for real. Okay, so what's next for Kota?
What's next? I'm gonna drop this album that I've been sitting on.
What's the date?
Huh? What's the date? I can't tell you. See, you trying to get me.
I was trying to get the exclusive, man.
I can't tell anybody yet. It's all in the plan. There's a date
Give
and
us a
time that I could.
frame, like,
Huh? I
next
could say in the
how
summer,
many months?
summertime.
Okay, summertime.
That's
So-
only 3 months.
So in between June 21st and September 21st.
There you go.
Sometime in between there.
Wow, you the first person I know that actually know when summer start and end. Wow. So you smart. You big smart. You really went to school. You went to school. Nah,
Period.
just playing.
Got to get that education I paid for. Might as well use that. But okay, so in that time frame, no, for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So next couple months to like before the end of the year for sure. So like pretty soon. Okay.
It's
What
coming.
I guess what can people expect on the album?
People can expect, like for me, this album is the end of a book. You know, like people usually say it's like the end of this chapter, but for me, it's like the end of a book that a story that I've been trying to tell since the beginning of my career, and I feel like this is really like it's like the end of a whole body of work from the time I was making. I made Palm Tree Liquor, Paloma Beach, Anything, Photo, Everything, and now this album is gonna be called Memo. It's like this is the like the close. That's it. You know.
Okay.
It's like I'm finished telling the story, this story of trying to get out of depression and figure out, my life and my anxiety and learn how to live a happy life and a life where I'm proud of, And so this is it. And I'm gonna chill for a while, and that's it's a new book. It's time for a new story to be written.
For sure. Okay, I like that. One last question. I guess speaking of books and kind of closing a chapter, what book inspired you? I guess and let me not even just assume that you're on this like spirituality journey, but I mean that's the vibe that I'm getting is just like the self-help like sort of like people that are in tune with themselves. What I guess what inspired like that? Because you can just tell when people have that vibe. Like I can tell that you on that like you doing the inner work for yourself and like what book inspired that? I guess.
Body Keeps the Score. I didn't even expect to really like it as much as I did, or it to affect me as much as I did. But like it was just sitting in my house for a couple weeks until I started picking it up. But one day I was just like, you know what, I want to start getting some new habits. So I was just like, let me read something. I ain't read something in a long time. I picked it up. I read the first chapter. I was like, it's crazy. Second chapter, I'm learning a lot. Put it down, and then I would go back to it every day.
That book is about trauma, right?
Yeah, that book is about it's about bodily trauma. It's like how trauma affects the body, and it stays in the body. It's like it's like your mind can forget things that your body won't forget. And it also is about how to heal yourself from this bodily trauma, how to get out of it. So that book is super important to me because it was opening my eyes and my mind to things that I hadn't even known about. I didn't even know about myself. It's like I was becoming aware of why I made certain decisions in my life, why I did certain things, like why I took that route instead of the positive route, and it helped me to make better decisions and figure out, it's like so I'm not crazy, you know? It's like I was really like, when you really find out that this was a trauma response, you know, to something that had happened to you in your life, and you just you kept on responding the same way, and so it always went left. You know, so like reading that book helped me feel seen, and you know, it helped me make better moves.
Yeah. It's funny that you said like you kept, you know, picking the same route. I feel like in my mind, I feel like the universe, or, you know, God, whatever people believe in, will give you the same kind of lesson over and over. If you don't, you know, you're not picking the right, like if you're not learning the lesson, he'll give you kind of the same choice, you know, every time. And a lot of people pick the same one until they, like, you know, kind of learn from that mistake. What, I guess, is your biggest imperfection, and how do you like overcome it, or how did you overcome it?
My biggest imperfection, so many. It was my biggest one.
Don't dog yourself
yeah,
out.
nah, for real. I'm a very imperfect person, man.
Imperfect on purpose. That's the pie. I mean.
I think my biggest imperfection was believing the negative self-talk of the negative talk of others, like believing that negativity that people were putting on me and putting it on myself. So talking to myself negatively, and so it's like when your inner voice is negative, your life is gonna be negative. You know, I feel like I allowed the insults and the negative energy of the world to affect me to the point where I started speaking to myself in that same way. You know, and so I would feel like that's the thing that held me back a lot in life. You know, and that's
How'd
something.
you get over that?
I just had to start talking to myself nice. Whenever I hear myself judging myself, I would be like, yo, first of all, shut up. And then I let the positive person come in and be like, yo, nah, you're great. Like, and even when I think about mistakes I've made, I'd be like, yo, you made mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes. And just like you talk to your kids, just like you talk to your friends, you know, it's like you talk to your friend, you want to talk to yourself the same way you talk to your friends. Yeah. You know? So
love yourself the way you love others. For sure. Anything else you want to say to the pod, to the people?
Not really. Just, you know, we said it all. That's it.
Okay. Where can people find you at? Like your social media links?
Yeah, Twitter, Kota the Friend, Kota the Friend, everything. Instagram, all the social medias, you know, same thing.
Okay. Well, thanks for doing this, and I hope you had a good time and it was a good experience.
Nah, it was dope. It's a good conversation. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate that.
Peace.
When you get it, I hope you are grateful, 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 yeah. Thank you, Jesus, Buddha, Jah, or Allah. Please insert wherever you believe in.